Auction e-commerce software relies heavily on the sellers and the listers. In this case, we're referring to them as affiliates, but they absolutely depend so heavily on the actual affiliates and vendors and sellers who are listing on the platform. So what are you doing to make it an immersive experience and a very opinionated and guided experience for them to go through whenever they're using your auction e-commerce software? Here we're taking a look at a report, and what we're going to talk about are some of the different types of reports that might make sense for your auction e-commerce software. Now, reports in general can mean a lot of different things. It can be a grid view that's filterable, sortable. You may have the ability to export and basically cater and customize this grid view so they can get data out of the system. It may be a hybrid of a grid view and a chart or some form of spark lines that they can see. They may also just simply be looking at trend lines, at graphs, maybe even a map, as we're seeing in this example. And ultimately, what we want to point out is that depending on your specific business model, there are probably a lot of insights and a lot of value that we can give to your sellers and to those who are listing to be able to provide auctions within your auction platform. Now, ultimately, depending on how you are growing your business, you may also want to take advantage of some very standard off-the-shelf reports and capabilities, but then cater some of them as well. Here, we're taking a look at an example of that, and specifically this particular auction software platform shows the number of bidder signups and bidders by state so that we can see visually very quickly whether or not we're tracking to our past historical capabilities. We can also see this sort of cumulative signups versus signups in the last 30 days. And so it's a really interesting view so that the seller, they can see if they're getting enough bids and if it's matching a historical trend. We can also do some pretty interesting things where we're showing them a de-identified set of data from our entire marketplace platform, or for the category or subcategories they're listing in, we can show de-identified accumulated data for what a norm is for how many people should be signing up to bid typically, and what their status is, how they're doing relative to that within our platform. So it's sort of like giving them a recommended range they should be within and showing them whether or not they're performing within that. And then we can even show them as a seller some recommendations based on how they're doing. So this is a great way to provide an opinionated experience and self-service where we give the user, in this case a seller, a feedback loop based on the reporting that we have in place. Now, another really interesting report is taking a look at basically their total sales, their average order value, their affiliate order value, and then some of their summary stats. Now, this is pretty cool stuff, and you can see we're drilling in and looking at conversion rate, bidder demographics, total sales, affiliate order value, percentage of lots, and then again, some of their other summary stats, affiliate KPI overview, etc. Now this really showcases some of the different report types. And here you can see the user can export, they can filter, and they can essentially drill down to the data for their affiliates and then export that data. Here we have this very visual indicator of some of their summary stats. So closing auctions, closing lots, bids placed, top watched items, and top dollar items. And so we really want to allow the seller to get this constant feedback loop that they can monitor and improve on. Now this is pretty interesting. Here we're actually showing the percentage of lots. And again, we're sort of showing them the difference between lots sold and no bid lots, and accumulating this data for them visually, and then lots refunded. Now, in this case, the lots are representative essentially of different forms of group bidding, but ultimately we want you to see that it's possible to take the data around your auctions and possibly different types of auctions that you're conducting and present it in a very visually stimulating way and allow them to filter and drill down on that data. One of the other really interesting reports here is the total sales. And you can see this is interesting because we're showing a comparison year to year, but we're also de-identifying the data and showing this user that they're number 3 in affiliate sales this month. So they can actually see a gamification within the platform, and you can help provide them with different options or benefits based on how well they perform within the marketplace. For example, if your auction e-commerce environment or marketplace is such that someone gets rewarded for being number 1, number 2, or number 3, or maybe having a certain type of review rating that they consistently receive, this can include giving them a spot in free advertising, or a premium listing, or some kind of an icon that shows that they've met a certain criteria. I mean, it's so simple to show that they're number 3 in affiliate sales within their listings of all of their auctions to help promote and give them credibility within the marketplace. That also creates this upward spiral where other sellers are trying to compete for that number 3, 2, or 1 spot within sales as well. Now here you can see we also have a bidder demographics view. Really interesting. So we can see this really heat map type of model of where they're physically located. And this might be motivating to the actual sellers so they can see where these bidders are actually physically located and set up proximate bids to these. And again, we're also looking at information around conversion and being able to review the total audience versus the new bidders and seeing what type of conversion we're getting within the bids. And then also just moving up a little bit here, we can see different forms of presenting these same reports. So we can present the reports in different formats, and just generally speaking, give the user access to this information in a way that's very visually intuitive. Now, one of the other things that we'll show is that we have the ability to do these kind of subgroupings of grids and reports. And ultimately, without going into too much detail around the reports, the biggest thing that we want you to take away from the reports in general is that it's possible to take information within the marketplace and de-identify that information and make it so that whenever the user is navigating through the system on the report side, they can see a comparison to where they should be, sort of a band of performance versus where they are and whether they're above or below that, as well as how they're doing overall within their business, and trying to tie that in with recommendations and best practices so that they can get back on track or continue to perform really well. We hope that that video was helpful, and we will look forward to seeing you in this next section where we talk about complementary resources that can help continue to grow your auction e-commerce software. Thanks for watching this video on auction e-commerce. This is a series of videos, and we want to encourage you that you're welcome to take a look at the additional features and functionalities as you see fit, and may be a good area for you to understand more. You can take a look at the detailed next video in this series by clicking the link that we've provided. We also have a set of links to all of the different videos in a playlist that you can take a look at. We've also compressed the videos into a single overall video, and if you would like, we've put together a free resource guide and checklist on auction e-commerce. One of the other things that we love to do at Clarity is provide you with complimentary guidance with some of our technical experts. So if you're interested in this, we call this a complimentary discovery, and you're welcome to go to our website, link below in the description, and go ahead and get that free complimentary discovery. We just want to say thank you again so much for watching this video and for being fans and subscribers. If you would, we would love it if you would do some auction with the like button and go ahead and hit the winning bid on the like button. All jokes aside, we really appreciate you guys watching. Hope you have a great rest of the day, and we'll look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thanks again.